But here we go. Finally, we have our next series.
That we do, as we spawn into Lightshade LE. We're in the bottom right-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom right-hand corner. We have the red Protoss player coming out from the land of China. He is, of course, going to be representing his clan, Starlight Twinkle. He is known in the bracket as ReWhite, but known in-game as Yuki.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Lightshade LE, we have the blue Zerg player. And oh my god,
Asus influence, man.
Representing Team THPJ, it is Takanashi. Is that the girl from ReZero?
Is this gonna be? Oh, that would explain. No, but he's not ReZero. ReZero was defeated by him.
Well, did he take his clan?
Wait, he took.
Did he take his waifu?
I was gonna say, is this where we find out that THJP? Is that what the THPJ? Is that where we find out it's similar to yesterday? I don't remember which player it was. But we found out that they had a clan decal, which was a character from Love Live.
Yeah.
And their clan name was something is my waifu.
Yeah. That did happen last night in the Taiwan Hong Kong qualifier.
I don't remember who it was.
I can't quite recall either. But this is a clan tag because I did notice that THPJ, like there was another player, Dol, in the bracket who went up against Daydreamer.
Oh, right.
So I guess it's a prominent clan. If anyone in the chat wants to let us know what these letters stand for and what this is, let us know.
What this is.
What is this?
What is this thing here? You know? Hey, aw.
He switches spray.
Aw, specifically because of the Clanton decal.
Yeah, he wants the waifu. Boy, well, in the end, Yuki takes down one Zerg player, and now he's up against another, right? So now my eyes are on the Zerg, right? We have seen Yuki go Skytoss, right? Double Stargate, Void Ray. We've seen him go Depths into. He wanted to go into Blink Stalker. He didn't get to talk about it, but he just didn't get to play his game.
Yeah.
The game didn't last long enough.
He did get to play his game. He had to play his game entirely. It just lasted a little less long than he would have liked.
Exactly. The game just ended too quickly. Yeah, he didn't even know it was going to end that quickly. So we'll see what differences we have here with our Takanashi, as he is switching things up a little bit. He is prioritizing pneumatized carapace even before Link's speed, which is a little bit shocking to me.
Definitely much more of a reactive player, Takanashi is. Yeah, compare that to Lan, who it did really seem like he had a build that he wanted to go for. He wanted to hit a bit of a timing, but fortunately didn't quite get the execution. Looks like Takanashi is a bit more willing to just scout his opponent, see what's going on, and build from there.
Yeah. It feels almost like he's got a lot of PTSD. He's like, I need scouting. I need to know exactly what my opponent is doing when he's doing it. It also feels a little bit inefficient, not gonna lie, just because of how early it was, but I mean, I guess he feels safe and secure knowing that it is a Stargate and not anything else.
Yeah, he's definitely had experience against this, at the very least. A very excited Stargate too, I believe Takanashi was able to scout the second Void Ray in production.
Yeah, that he was. Now the Void Rays are across the map. We have plenty of queens, as we would expect. And this Void Ray shouldn't snowball. We saw in the previous series how the Void Rays were able to almost take out a base, take out a bunch of workers, take out a bunch of queens, and really won Yuki the game. I doubt we're going to see that the same here, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe there's something special about Yuki's Void Rays.
Yeah, definitely to be determined. He's being very ballsy with his initial Void Ray. He's getting more for scouting than anything, but also just trying to see if there's any damage he can get done. Almost able to get a creep tumor, but once he sees 4 queens, he knows it's time to book it.
Yeah, he needs to get the hell out of there. Does back off and ooh, okay. Takanashi going for a very fast lair.
Before a Roach Warren?
Yeah, he may just die.
He really could. I mean, we saw how well Yuki could control his depths, even Galaveless. So...
Yeah. Oh boy, we'll see. We'll see. All right, we do have plenty of links. Thankfully, the links are here. They do get us around on the adepts.
This is exactly what Seal was talking about. With the plunger in the corner.
What are you on about, mate?
The adepts are being distracted. Did a Void Ray go down? I don't believe so.
It did. A Void
It
Ray.
did.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew I heard something.
A Void Ray did go down here to these queens, so Yuki was trying to go for some multi-prong attack, and in the end, he is going to get some drones, but at the cost of a Void Ray.
A Void Ray, all of these adepts. I really thought Yuki would be able to get a lot more damage here, but yeah, Takanashi just was really able to tighten up his defenses. That's an infestation pit light! Before any other tech! Ultras?
Interesting. So, before we get there, it looks like this base is gonna be forced to cancel. There we go. There was no kill. I don't know why the hell you said, oh wait, no! Oh god! Oh, it's a kill!
He does get the kill.
Oh,
Takanashi. You got a little greedy there, buddy.
I keep wanting to say Takahashi. I keep wanting to. I just want to say it.
You Yu-Gi-Oh players. Shaking my head.
What?
That's what I'm assuming it's from.
What? What?
Recognize the name Takahashi. I'm assuming that's where it's from.
What? What? We've sung the song together. What is it?
What?
Fighting. What are you? It's from Naruto. What are you talking about?
Is it? I don't remember that.
It's Takahashi. It's the guy. It's the guy with the hair, the white hair with the mask.
Kakashi?
Kakanda. That's. I don't know what I'm talking about. I haven't seen it in years. Oh god.
We all have dementia today. It's
We
fine.
do.
That's what happens when we talk to Steel before a broadcast.
Oh god. Yeah, he just saps it away, mate.
But Takahashi. The thing is, he has Mandarin characters in game as well, so we can't even. Takanashi.
Yes.
Has finally gotten to Roach Warren. You know, just before his eye finishes up, that he's going double Spire for the upgrades. He really wants to fight Sky Toss with Sky Zerg. Can really go one of two ways.
Yeah, like what he has done is incredibly greedy. Like, but we saw earlier he just barely hold with his with his queens and with his lings, and now he's gotten up to this tech, right? He's ready to go into Hive, to go into Vipers. He has his double Spire on the way for those. Oh my god, he actually is throwing down the Ultra. He's taking up so much. He's getting literally everything. It's crazy. It's so greedy.
Literally everything on 4 bases.
Yeah.
I really don't think he's gonna have the economy to sustain that, but technically his mineral mining is better than Yuki's.
Like I've seen Cham do it. Like it was last week. He played just like this against Trigger and he died horribly just because he just
Trigger beat him 4-0,
yeah. Like he just didn't have enough resources to sustain and get an army large enough for when the Protoss player finally pushes out. Because the thing is that this Void Ray army is getting larger and larger. We have carriers on the way already. We have disruptors as well. Like it's gonna take a while for our Zerg player to really muster up this like high gas intensive army,
especially when he's on very little gas to begin with. A couple of Vipers may be able to keep him alive, and I mean it's at least something, right, that Yuki isn't looking to push out before he gets a critical mass of carriers, before he gets his upgrades in. But
yeah,
that's about to be pretty soon.
What I will say is that, like, there is, like, this, what he's doing makes sense because he's making nothing but mineral-based units right now. Like, look at all the queens and all the lings that he's made. Like, this is really what he's relying on, and he's saving all his gas for the tech, for the upgrades, and for the Vipers and eventual, like, Brood Lords and Ultras.
And Ultra,
yeah. So he's being as efficient as possible with his resources. Is it going to be good enough, though?
Potentially, these disruptors are the main threat to the queens right now, and they actually do get there. Nova's in. The army of Takanashi was behind the disruptors, but they just never really attacked. In the end, it is going to be enough, though, for Takanashi to push everything back.
Wow.
Queens, yo, never underestimate transfuse.
And what's crazy about what just happened as well is that, like, this was just Queen, Lings, and a handful of Ravagers, mate. Like, we didn't even need the tier 3 that's on the way.
Yep.
We didn't even need the Vipers.
And it was like one Parabomb, but also Yuki was able to split pretty well, so you could kind of say that zoning came in, but
yeah.
you know?
I was just really shocked that Yuki pushed out then, right? Like, Yuki, mate, when you're Protoss, you gotta max out. You know, that's the strength of the Sky Toss. You know, 200, 200 supply, you've got your AoE, you got your splash damage, you got your mothership as well. So he did pull the trigger a little bit prematurely. Maybe he smelled like blood in the water or something. But yeah, he was punished for that.
Punished very badly. Now he's pretty much lost all of his map control. His void ray count has been significantly reduced. At Takanashi, he's free to expand. He's free to build as many spore crawlers as he needs. This is the best anti-air you can get as a Zerg player.
Yeah. Again, the Spore Forest has commenced here. I believe Takanashi has just kind of been like, yo, from the very beginning, let's go to the late game. Let's just hash it out then and there. And he's 100%.
Those players.
Yeah.
Hope we never get on Romanticide.
Oh my god. Is it gonna be enough though? I do think that his army needs to be refined a little bit here. Like, he's working on it though. Again, like, he will need to rely on more than just these queens. Like, corruptors are going to be a necessity to help try and deal with the rest of this army.
Yeah, it's actually something that I've been thinking about. Like, how many queens do you really want to sacrifice as you get to this stage of the game, right?
Yeah.
Like, sure, transfuse is great, but you do need a more reliable source of DPS. You do need some corruptors, or if you want to swing that way, then Hydras instead. But yeah, you need something that deals more damage than queens.
Yeah,
Transfuse maybe.
The added difficult thing about all these queens is that there's just a lot to control as a Zerg player. Like, you have to, like, control your spellcasters when it comes to your Vipers, and you also have to make sure that you get your I almost said your injects, your transfuses off, right, to keep the corruptors alive. So there's gonna be a lot going on here, and we'll see if he's gonna be able to pull it off. I do love, like, just the sheer amount of spores that we have going on here. It's crazy.
Oh, it's a straight up wall.
Yeah.
One end of the map to the other.
I just love the way he approached this because, like, again, because he's been really conservative with his, like, mineral spending and with his gas spending. Yeah. There are a lot of Zerg players who they make a mass amount of spores in one area, and what they do is they just relocate them wherever the army shows up. But instead, this guy, he just threw it down everywhere.
They're almost gonna act as spotters, aren't they? Spotters that can deal damage. I like that as an idea. Meanwhile, Yuki is maxed out and he's looking to go for round 2. Pushing into these spore crawls, but around too many of them in this one area by the 5th base location. A lot of queens actually very far in the back, focusing more on the interceptors than anything else. One Parabomb lands! Yes. Right in the middle of all these carriers.
Finally,
but the purification Novas do as well.
Yeah, and I was about to say, unfortunately, Parabomb on carriers aren't necessarily what you want unless you force the engagement on top of the carriers. Just like that, none of the carriers die. They only lose their shields, and down go every single one of those queens.
Well, at least it frees up supply to get corruptors out, but at this point, I feel like the corruptors are just gonna trickle in. I think the Vipers got taken out, or if they haven't, then down Venji. GG. I really thought we were gonna get a longer one, but Yuki, he found a slight little gap in the wall of spores, and he went straight for it.
GG, kind of. Like, what we saw there, even though they were maxed out armies, is that unfortunately our Zerg player didn't have the best army that he needed. His army was kind of like kind of inflated by queens, and we were talking about how he needs to, like, refine his army, right? He needs more corruptors, he needs more overall DPS, and those queens really ate into his army and did make it worse there in the end.
Yeah, but consider this. Transfuse.
Yeah. I didn't see if he got many transfuses off, I'll be honest.
I think he did get a few, but unfortunately at that point, you know, Purification Novas don't care about your transfuse.
Yeah, they do not. They do not, because I did see them go off as well.
I didn't. I just saw the army evaporate, the ground army evaporate. I was like, what? Novas, right?
Novas, they don't shoot up, mate. They don't hit corruptors.
They don't, but you know what they do hit? Queens and Ravagers.
Yeah. That's the other unfortunate thing about Lightshade, is that that attack, by the way, like it completely destroyed the army of Takanashi, and it hit a base. On top of that, Takanashi was maxed out even as he was dying because he had a massive bank. He was replenishing his army,
Yep.
but because it's Light Shade, like you don't have a lot of breathing room to get that army back up and running and remax.
Yeah, fortunately. Your opponent already breathing down your neck. But speaking of having your opponent already breathing down your neck, we have the opposite problem in this map. We are loading into Jagannatha KBBLE. We're in the top right-hand corner map, starting all the way in the top right-hand corner. We have the red Protoss player coming out from the land of China. He is, once again, representing clan Starlight Twinkle. He's looking to steal the waifu away from his opponent. He is known elsewhere as ReWhite, here as Yuki.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Jagannatha LE, we have the Chinese Zerg player representing THPJ, as well as his lovely waifu. It is Takanashi.
And you were just pointing something out here in the chat, which does tie into just the fact that leaving your Protoss opponent alone as a Zerg player is always going to be a gambit, right? Trying to tech up and be as greedy as possible and not have any presence on the map, that is very dangerous in the CVP because, again, as pointed out, Yuki was left alone for so long he could afford to get triple forge upgrades.
It's one of those things where in this matchup, if you leave the Zerg player alone and if you leave the Protoss alone, it's better for the Protoss. Like it's,
but then,
yeah.
But then again, the Protoss wasn't leaving the Zerg player alone. Yuki had his Void Rays out, doing as much as they could. His Adepts as well in the early game.
Very
to
true.
Really try to keep Takanashi back, and I think he succeeded quite a number of times.
Yeah, I mean, he got 5 drone kills, which isn't the biggest of deals, but it's important to note he didn't just delay it; he killed it. Remember, well, he did both.
Yeah.
Oh god. So yeah, he was quite active with those Void Rays. So Yuki did play that out quite well. We'll see if Takanashi can bring it back here. What I will say is that I want Yuki to say, like, that's not for you, that's for the waifu, man.
I wanted him to say it in Mandarin so we can't read it.
I love it. I love it. But yeah, I do think that, again, like, I was impressed by how Takanashi was approaching that matchup and how he wanted to get that late game army composition going. I want to see what he can accomplish when he has the ideal composition, because I don't feel like he did, right? Like, he had a bunch of Queenslings, Ravagers, and Vipers. Like, I feel like I want to see what he can do when he has a little bit more to his disposal.
Yeah, some players would argue that the ideal army composition is nothing but Queens, but yeah, something that's a little bit more...
Like, what?
Wouldn't surprise me.
Oh, God.
But yeah, something that is a little bit less of the kitchen sink army composition, where it's like, well, I'm trying to save up as much gas as possible, so let me get a bunch of Zerglings out, a bunch of Queens out. Oh, I might die, so let me get a couple of Roaches out, and, you know, I'm not going for any run-bys or anything, so I still have them while I make my Corruptors, while I make my Ultra Fists, unfortunately.
Yeah. Oh boy, we'll see if he's going to do the same. Maybe he can find some better luck here on Jagannatha. It is a bit of a longer map, so maybe he can do something there. At the same time, I feel like Yuki might have bigger opportunities to just stop that from happening and stop the game from going on that long. It depends if he does commit to the Void Rays again, because we have seen that Yuki can switch it up.
This would be a good map for Tempest, wouldn't it? If you really wanted to switch things up.
Yeah, sure. Sure, you just really want to see Tempest, don't you?
I really do, yeah. If there was any region that would bring it back, I feel like China would be it.
Yeah, we'll see, buddy. We'll see. I would have said Taiwan with Bud Always. That's what I would have said.
Yeah, but we did the Taiwanese qualifiers last night, and we didn't see that.
True. Oh my god.
Yeah, gets in Overlord, almost loses a Void Ray, but is able to dip out. Speaking of switching things up, Yuki, I think it's the first time he's going Void Ray into Oracle. And a Forge as well. He's pulling a bit of a zest.
Yeah, we know what he's doing. Thankfully for Takanashi, he did scout the Oracle coming across the map. He also scouted the second Stargate, so he knows exactly what is coming his way. Even saw the Forge, so Yuki at least wants to slow things down, even more so than the previous game with the faster cannons.
Yeah. A lot of Protoss players, they get a Forge, and that's to get +1 or something, hit a bit of an earlier timing after they get a bunch of gateways out. Not players like Yuki, who is getting the Forge for no other reason than to get some cannons up and turtle up as best he can on 4 bases while he maxes out.
Yeah. Oh boy. And Jagannath is a really good map to do that on, as we do have that double Void Ray production. Now my eyes are here on Takanashi. We do have something very different happening. 1, the lair is on the way. 2, +1 range is on the way here. Are we going to see a Hydra Den thrown down? That's what I'm curious about. Oh, no, never mind.
Oh, okay. It's going to be another infestation pit. So, you know what? I like this. I like this a bit more from Yuki, though, because I feel like it's a statement. I feel like he's saying, I see you, Takanashi. You want to go for late game. You want to get there as quickly as possible. That's fine. I can meet you in the late game.
Yeah. Yeah.
No rush, 15 minutes.
Oh, God. And it's already a great start for Yuki as well. He does delay the 4th base, forces it to be retaken over here at the triangular 3rd location. We also have some very interesting upgrades as well. Like,
What?
Yeah.
Range and melee.
Yeah, and roach speed?
And melee.
And hive. So when I saw the roach speed, I'm like, does he want to hit with roaches with +1 range before the late game and end the game early? But then he starts the hive, so I'm like, well, I guess not.
But he also got the infestation pit earlier on, so you may be thinking like swarm host ? But not at all. Huh.
Yeah. I'm just surprised by the amount of upgrades that this guy's getting. Like, so far,
fighting dreamer. Double Spire.
He is a fighting dreamer. Yep, just like the previous game, double Spire. We do have the hive on the way. I don't know if like things like the Baneling Nest and the +1 are necessary. I guess they are if he decides to go for some Baneling run bys. That's a big if though. Yeah.
And even bigger if is whether or not those Baneling run bys will get anything, because again, Yuki has been left alone for so long. He's just setting up his 4th base and already places down the pylons in position to get shield batteries and cannons.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we'll see. Round 2, essentially. You know, Takanashi, can he pull it off this time with this style, with this high-tech intensive style, where both players kind of just back off and leave each other alone? So far, Yuki is still being active with these Void Rays. Hasn't found too much else. There we go. The rush into Vipers. 5 of them already on the way.
Oh. Would you consider that a little overkill, or
yeah,
are Yoinks good units?
It depends if he thinks he's going to lose some of them. He's like, I may lose 2 Vipers before they do anything, but at least I'm going to still get some Power Bombs and some Yoinks, you know?
Yeah, sometimes the inefficient route can be the more effective route.
Yeah. Just if you know, like, you know, your opponent is going to be able to snipe some of these regardless. So I think 5 is okay. At least he's not pulling a Jim. Jim gets like 8. It's awful.
He does.
It's God damn it, Jim. But we'll see how things go here, as we do have a Void Ray hit squad. Oh god, this is a base killing hit squad as well. Like, if the queens aren't too careful, if they aren't in position, these Void Rays, they can get a lot done.
They can snipe the Vipers! Power Bomb does land on one of these Void Rays. The rest of them taking a little bit of damage, but not too much. One Void Ray is still in range of that Power Bomb, by the way. It's funny to see, skirting the edge of it.
Yeah, but that was well worth it. What, a little bit of hull damage for a Viper? That was great for Yuki.
Now Yuki only has 4, so yeah, I guess it makes sense why he decided to get 5. He knew he was going to lose 1 or 2.
Exactly. There you go. It all makes sense, mate. Oh god. Meanwhile, I am a little bit concerned. Like, we do have the Spore Wall, which is fine. You know, the Spore Wall is so good. It's so good. I just feel so uneasy with how Takanashi delays his corruptors.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's He's had the spires for a while now. He's got the spare supply, but like he prioritizes his upgrades over them. And now in comes the army.
Look, Corruptors aren't as good at anti-air compared to Spore Crawlers. One single Archon here for Yuki. That's his only source of splash damage. Unfortunately, doesn't have the disruptors he had earlier on, which is a bit of a shame because, man, are these queens clumped up.
Oh,
but the Zealots do charge forward. The queen's actually super distracted with them.
Yeah, that they are. But you know what? These spines, all the side defense is doing so well here for Takanashi, and he is able to hold the line just barely, forcing Yuki all the way back.
Wow, I really thought that battle was going Yuki's way, but yeah, never forget the stack defense. Real MVPs. The spine crawlers taking out the Zealots, Spore Crawlers. You know, they didn't get distracted by the Zealots. They could continue to fire in Sky Toss.
Yeah. This stack defense finishing up just as in the middle of the fight was huge there for Takanashi because that he was able to hold on, was able to hold the line. But Yuki warps in again, and he's coming in for round 2.
This time with more Archons. These queens so exposed, and they're high energy queens too. Gonna be one transfuse available really for the rest of this engagement. Torcross starting to get low, and these are the only sources of anti-air, not counting parabombs.
I mean, speaking of, we do have a parabomb in the middle of all of the carriers, but the interceptors are going ham, all the queens are going down, and we're getting a bit of a repeat of the previous game, man. Where's the anti-air?
Down and out.
It's dead, mate.
Down the drain.
Oh god, just like Steel's plunger, and we do have a parabomb, another one. We do have a couple of corruptors coming out, and the thing is, maybe the corruptors can clear up the carriers, but there's no answer to the Zealots and the Archons.
And the Archons are really the scariest thing right now for these corruptors, especially one volley from 3 Archons. Look at how low they were able to get those corruptors. The carriers is there just to clean up, and it looks like Yuki will be taking a waifu. He is called. Yuki takes that W. I feel like we just watched 2 45-minute games, but each of them took
like
only lasted like 15 minutes.
Yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying.
That's worrisome.
Oh god, but GG, well played. Congratulations, ReWhite, aka Yuki, on taking the series 2-0. Oh god, unfortunately Takanashi, like I understand what he was going for there. I think he just wasn't expecting Yuki to be as aggressive as he was, because Yuki was pushing out like at around like 150 or so supply. You know, he wasn't maxing out first or anything like that. He was hitting a little bit sooner, and I mean, I do think that Takanashi did well holding that first wave, but he lost a lot of queens when that happened, and it takes a while to replenish them.
Yeah. So one Zerg unit takes a while to build. Not entirely true, but you know in your hearts it feels that way.
It does.
You can only make one at a time.
You can. Also, Rangers there in the chat, get everything. Yeah, like that's the thing. Like, I do think that like it was kind of like it's cool that he's getting everything, but at the same time, it's like there are a lot of like resources here that could be like spent elsewhere. You know, it's like
yeah.
Like I think
Get
with the
everything,
game,
but in a different order.
He had everything, which means that he had nothing. Like
yeah.
I think as the game was ending, he was getting kindness plating. You know, like what? It's like, really?
You can't get everything all at once, you know. Space it out, get them in an order.
Yeah. Because you know what? What happens if you try to do that? You lose your waifu.
Yeah.